The quantum identity flip. How to become the version of you who attracts wealth effortlessly. Stop everything. What if I told you that the reason you're not wealthy has nothing to do with your skills, your opportunities, or your circumstances? What if the real reason you're broke is because you're the wrong person? Not morally wrong, energetically wrong. You're operating from an identity that repels wealth, and no amount of strategy, hustle, or manifestation techniques can overcome that. Here's the truth that will change everything. You don't attract wealth by wanting it. You attract it by becoming it. Right now, there are infinite versions of you existing in the quantum field. There's the broke version, the one you're currently being. And there's the wealthy version, the one who attracts money effortlessly. These aren't future possibilities. These are present identities. And you can flip from one to the other instantly through what I call the quantum identity flip. Once you understand how, your identity is not who you think you are. Your identity is the energetic signature you broadcast into the quantum field through your consistent thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors. That signature tells the universe, "This is who I am." And the universe responds by sending you circumstances that match that identity. If your identity is, "I am someone who struggles with money," the universe says, "Yes, you are," and delivers struggle. If your identity is, "I am someone who naturally attracts wealth," the universe says, "Yes, you are," and delivers wealth. The universe doesn't argue with your identity. It confirms it with absolute precision. Most people are trying to get wealth while being the broke version of themselves. They want millions while identifying as poor. They desire abundance while embodying scarcity. They're asking the universe to give them something that contradicts who they are. And it doesn't work because the universe responds to identity, not desire. You can want wealth desperately, but if your identity says, "I'm broke," the universe confirms your identity and keeps you broke. This is why affirmations and vision boards fail for most people. They're trying to attract wealth to the wrong identity. They're asking for abundance while being scarcity. It's an impossible contradiction. Here's what changes everything. You don't need to wait until you have money to become the wealthy version of yourself. You can flip your identity right now, in this moment, before any external circumstances change. And the moment you genuinely flip your identity, the moment you stop being the broke you and start being the wealthy you, the universe has no choice but to reorganize circumstances to match your new identity. This isn't magical thinking. This is quantum mechanics. Your identity determines your frequency. Your frequency determines what you attract. Change your identity, change your frequency, change your reality. The quantum identity flip is not about pretending or faking. It's not fake it till you make it. It's about recognizing that the wealthy version of you already exists in the quantum field as a real possibility, and you're choosing to embody that version instead of the broke version. Both exist simultaneously. You're just selecting which one to be. Think of it like changing channels on a television. The broke channel and the wealthy channel are both broadcasting right now. You've been watching the broke channel your whole life. But you can switch to the wealthy channel instantly by changing your identity. Same you, different channel, completely different experience. This is why some people seem to attract money effortlessly while others struggle endlessly. It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's identity. The people attracting wealth effortlessly are being the wealthy version of themselves. They think like wealthy people think. They feel like wealthy people feel. They decide like wealthy people decide. They carry themselves like wealthy people carry themselves. Their identity is wealth, so the universe confirms that identity with abundant circumstances. The people struggling are being the broke version of themselves, so the universe confirms that identity with struggle. Same universe, different identities, completely different results. The question is, which version of you are you currently being? The broke version or the wealthy version? Be honest. Not which one you want to be or wish you were, but which one you're actually being in your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, and behaviors right now. Because that's the identity the universe is reading and confirming. If you're being the broke version, you'll stay broke no matter what you do. If you flip to being the wealthy version, abundance becomes inevitable. Your job isn't to get wealth. Your job is to become wealth. And I'm about to show you exactly how to make that quantum identity flip. The two identities, broke you versus wealthy you. Let's get crystal clear on the difference between your broke identity and your wealthy identity, because you can't flip from one to the other until you can clearly see both. These aren't just different bank balances, they're completely different ways of being in the world. Different thoughts, different emotions, different beliefs, different behaviors, different energy. Understanding these distinctions is crucial because the quantum identity flip requires you to consciously choose one identity over the other, and you can't choose what you can't see clearly. Broke identity thinks in scarcity. The dominant thought pattern is, there's never enough. Money is so hard. I can't afford this. Why does this always happen to me? Other people are lucky, but I'm not. I'll never get ahead. These thoughts run automatically, constantly, creating a baseline frequency of lack. Wealthy identity thinks in abundance. The dominant thought pattern is, money flows to me easily. I always have what I need. Opportunities are everywhere. Things work out for me. I'm financially blessed. These thoughts also run automatically, creating a baseline frequency of prosperity. Same brain, different identity, completely different thought patterns. Broke identity feels chronic financial stress. The emotional baseline is anxiety, fear, resentment, unworthiness, or desperation about money. Even when things are temporarily okay, there's underlying dread, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Wealthy identity feels financial confidence. The emotional baseline is peace, trust, excitement, gratitude, or certainty about money. Even when facing challenges, there's underlying calm, knowing everything will work out. Your identity determines your emotional baseline, and your emotional baseline broadcasts your frequency more powerfully than anything else. Broke identity believes scarcity is truth. Core beliefs include, I don't deserve wealth. Money is hard to make. Rich people are greedy or lucky. I'm not good with money. People like me don't prosper. These beliefs operate mostly in the subconscious, filtering reality and creating self-fulfilling prophecies. Wealthy identity believes abundance is truth. Core beliefs include, I absolutely deserve prosperity. Money comes easily when I'm aligned. Wealthy people create value. I'm naturally good with money. Abundance is my birthright. These beliefs open perception to opportunities that the broke identity literally cannot see. Broke identity behaves from fear and scarcity. Behaviors include checking accounts compulsively from anxiety, avoiding financial decisions from overwhelm, hoarding from fear, spending impulsively to compensate for deprivation, underpricing to avoid rejection, choosing security over growth. Every behavior broadcasts, I'm broke and scared. Wealthy identity behaves from trust and abundance. Behaviors include managing money confidently, making decisions decisively, investing readily, spending consciously, pricing appropriately, choosing growth over comfort. Every behavior broadcasts, I'm wealthy and secure. Broke identity carries contracted energy. The physical presence is small, hesitant, apologetic, tense. You can feel the contraction in posture, movement, voice, eye contact. The person is energetically closed, protecting against loss rather than opening to receive. Wealthy identity carries expansive energy. The physical presence is open, confident, relaxed, grounded. You can feel the expansion in posture, movement, voice, presence. The person is energetically open, ready to receive, occupying space comfortably. This energetic difference is palpable and the universe reads it clearly. Broke identity speaks lack. Language is filled with, I can't afford, I don't have, I wish I could, maybe someday, I'm broke, money is tight. Every word reinforces scarcity identity. Wealthy identity speaks abundance. Language is filled with, I'm investing in, I'm creating, I choose to, this is happening, I'm prosperous, money flows. Every word reinforces wealth identity. Your words aren't just communication, they're identity declaration. The universe listens to what you say about yourself and confirms it. Broke identity waits for permission. There's a sense of, I need someone to give me permission, opportunity, approval, or validation before I can prosper. The identity is passive, dependent, waiting to be chosen or rescued. Wealthy identity gives itself permission. There's a knowing. I give myself full permission to prosper. I create my own opportunities. I validate myself. I choose myself. The identity is active, sovereign, choosing rather than waiting. This difference in orientation, waiting versus choosing, completely changes what the universe mirrors back. Here's what's critical to understand. These aren't just personality differences. These are different quantum identities broadcasting different frequencies and receiving different realities as a result. The broke identity and the wealthy identity are both you, both valid possibilities existing simultaneously in the quantum field. But they create completely different lives. One lives in struggle, limitation, and lack. The other lives in ease, expansion, and abundance. Same universe, same basic circumstances to start, but radically different experiences based entirely on which identity is being embodied. The question is, which one are you choosing to be? Why you're stuck in broke identity. Now let's expose why you're currently stuck in broke identity, because you can't flip to a new identity until you understand what's been keeping you locked in the old one. Your broke identity wasn't chosen consciously. It was installed through conditioning, trauma, and survival programming, usually before you had the awareness to question it. These patterns run automatically now, broadcasting broke frequency and creating broke circumstances, and they'll continue until you consciously interrupt and replace them. The first reason you're stuck is childhood imprinting. Between ages 0 and 7, your brain was primarily in theta wave state, essentially a hypnotic trance, absorbing everything without filters or critical thinking. You downloaded your parents' identity around money as if it were truth. If they identified as struggling, you absorbed that identity. If they said things like, "We can't afford that," or "money doesn't grow on trees," or "rich people are greedy," you internalized those as core identity beliefs. You weren't forming your own identity, you were absorbing theirs. And now, decades later, you're still operating from that downloaded identity even though it was never truly yours. The second reason is trauma encoding. Any traumatic experience around money encoded itself in your nervous system and became part of your identity. Witnessing your parents fighting about bills, losing your home, experiencing poverty, being shamed about money. These experiences didn't just create memories, they shaped identity. Your nervous system concluded, this is who we are, people who struggle with money. That identity got hardwired into your system as a protection mechanism, and now it runs automatically. You're not consciously choosing broke identity, you're unconsciously operating from trauma-based programming that feels like truth because it's been there so long. The third reason is social conditioning. Your culture, community, and peer group reinforced certain identities as normal or acceptable for people like you. If you grew up in a working-class community, the acceptable identity was working hard for modest income. If you grew up in a culture that valued suffering or frowned upon wealth, the acceptable identity was struggle. If your peer group bonded over financial complaints, the acceptable identity was broke. To maintain belonging, which feels survival critical at a primal level, you adopted and maintained the identity that your tribe considered normal. Choosing a wealthy identity would mean risking rejection from your tribe, which your unconscious won't allow. So you stay stuck in broke identity to stay safe in your tribe. The fourth reason is identity circumstance feedback loop. Here's where it gets really sticky. Your broke identity created broke circumstances, and now those circumstances reinforce your broke identity, which creates more broke circumstances. You're trapped in a loop where your identity and your reality are constantly confirming each other. You identify as broke, so you act from scarcity, which creates broke results, which confirms you're broke, which strengthens broke identity. The loop gets stronger with each cycle, making it feel impossible to break. You can't see that identity is causing circumstances because it feels like circumstances are proving your identity is true. The fifth reason is identity protection through self-sabotage. Your ego's job is maintaining identity continuity, keeping you consistent with who you believe you are, even if that identity causes suffering. So whenever you start to succeed beyond your broke identity, your ego activates sabotage mechanisms to return you to familiar territory. You might make a terrible financial decision right when you're doing well. You might create a crisis that drains your money. You might unconsciously push opportunities away. This isn't conscious choice, this is your ego protecting your identity. Success threatens broke identity, so broke identity sabotages success to maintain itself. The sixth reason is lack of alternative template. You've been broke identity for so long, you don't actually know how to be wealthy identity. You don't know how wealthy people think, feel, believe, behave, or carry themselves because you've never been that. You have no experiential reference for wealthy identity, so even when you try to change, you don't know what you're changing to. It's like trying to speak a language you've never heard. You intellectually want to be wealthy identity, but you don't embody it because you don't know what embodiment actually looks like or feels like. You need a clear template of wealthy identity to flip into. These 6 reasons work together to create powerful inertia, keeping you locked in broke identity. The programming is deep, the patterns are automatic, the feedback loops are reinforcing, and you don't have a clear alternative. But here's the empowering truth: identity is not permanent. It feels permanent because you've been it for so long, but identity is just a pattern, a habitual way of being. And patterns can be interrupted and replaced. You can flip from broke identity to wealthy identity consciously and deliberately, right now, regardless of your current circumstances. The flip happens at the moment you decide who you're going to be and commit to being that consistently. Everything else follows. The Quantum Identity Flip Protocol. Now the practical protocol for making the quantum identity flip from broke identity to wealthy identity. This isn't theoretical. This is the exact process that creates identity transformation when applied with consistency and commitment. The protocol has 5 essential practices that work together to install wealthy identity at the deepest levels of your being so it becomes your new automatic default. Practice 1. Wealthy Identity Definition. You must get crystal clear on exactly who your wealthy identity is. Not vague ideas, specific, detailed clarity. Sit down and write answers to these questions from the perspective of your wealthy identity. How do I think about money? How do I feel about my financial life? What do I believe about myself and wealth? How do I make decisions? How do I spend my time? How do I carry myself? How do I speak? What's my energy like? What do I wear? How do I treat others? What are my daily habits? Write a complete, vivid description of wealthy you. This becomes your template, the identity you're flipping into. You can't become what you can't clearly define. Practice 2. Identity Declaration through speaking. Every morning and evening, speak your wealthy identity out loud with absolute conviction. Not as aspiration, as current truth. I am abundant. I am prosperous. I am someone who naturally attracts wealth. Money flows to me effortlessly. I make decisions with confidence. I give myself full permission to prosper. I am the wealthy version of myself right now. Speak this as identity statement, not wish. Your subconscious doesn't distinguish between real and vividly imagined, so when you declare identity with conviction and feeling, your subconscious begins accepting it as truth. Repetition installs the new identity programming. Practice 3. Embodiment through acting as if. Throughout your day, constantly ask, what would my wealthy identity do in this situation? Then do that, even when it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. Maybe wealthy you would invest in that program without agonizing. Maybe wealthy you would price their services higher. Maybe wealthy you would dress better or speak more confidently. Maybe wealthy you would say no to underpaid work or yes to growth opportunities. Each time you choose what wealthy identity would choose, you strengthen that identity and weaken broke identity. You're not pretending, you're practicing being who you're becoming until it becomes natural. Practice 4. Identity immersion through environment. Surround yourself with the frequency of wealthy identity as much as possible. Who embodies wealthy identity? Spend time with them or study them. What content reflects wealthy identity thinking? Consume that. What environments feel abundant? Be in those spaces. What clothes make you feel like wealthy identity? Wear them. You're literally training your nervous system to recognize wealthy identity as normal by immersing yourself in its frequency. The more exposure, the faster broke identity dissolves and wealthy identity solidifies. Environment shapes identity powerfully. Use it deliberately. Practice 5. Identity anchoring through visualization. Spend 10 minutes daily experiencing life as your wealthy identity with full sensory immersion. Not visualizing from outside, being it from inside. See through the eyes of wealthy you. Feel the emotions wealthy you feels. Think the thoughts wealthy you thinks. Make decisions wealthy you makes. Move through your day as wealthy you. Make this so vivid and real that your brain processes it as actual experience. This creates neural pathways for wealthy identity and begins making it feel familiar rather than foreign. Your brain learns through experience, real or vividly imagined. You're giving it experience of being wealthy identity so it becomes your default. These 5 practices, definition, declaration, embodiment, immersion, and anchoring, work together to install wealthy identity at every level: conscious, subconscious, behavioral, environmental, and neurological. When practiced daily with commitment, they create the quantum identity flip. Here's what happens. For the first week or 2, you're consciously choosing wealthy identity against the momentum of broke identity. It feels awkward, uncomfortable, like acting. But you persist. Around week 3 or 4, something shifts. Wealthy identity starts feeling more natural. The thoughts come more easily. The emotions feel more authentic. The behaviors feel less forced. By week 6 to 8, wealthy identity becomes your new default. You're not trying to be it anymore, you just are it. And once identity flips, circumstances must follow because the universe confirms your identity with matching reality. The key is consistency without exception. You can't be wealthy identity on Monday and broke identity on Tuesday. You can't embody wealth in the morning and scarcity in the afternoon. Every moment you return to broke identity, you strengthen it. Every moment you maintain wealthy identity, you strengthen it. Which one becomes your default depends on which one you choose more consistently. Choose wealthy identity relentlessly, moment by moment, for 60 to 90 days, and the flip becomes permanent. You become the version of you who attracts wealth effortlessly because that's genuinely who you are now. Living as wealthy identity. When everything changes. Let's explore what life looks like after you've successfully completed the quantum identity flip and wealthy identity has become your genuine default. Because understanding what's possible motivates you through the transition period. When you're authentically being wealthy identity, not performing it, actually being it, your entire experience of life transforms in ways that seem miraculous but are simply the natural result of the universe confirming your new identity with matching circumstances. The first transformation is internal certainty. Broke identity carries constant doubt, fear, and insecurity about money. Wealthy identity carries unshakable knowing that you're financially supported. Not hope or wish, knowing. You don't wonder if things will work out, you know they will. You don't worry about having enough, you trust abundance is natural. This certainty isn't based on your bank balance, it's based on your identity. When you are wealthy identity, certainty is your default state. This internal shift creates profound peace and freedom because you're no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You know who you are, and that identity is secure regardless of temporary fluctuations. The second transformation is effortless attraction. Broke identity has to chase, force, and struggle for money. Wealthy identity attracts money naturally without effort. Opportunities appear without seeking. Money comes from unexpected sources. People want to work with you and pay you well. Things flow rather than requiring force. This isn't magic, it's identity confirmation. When you are wealthy identity, you broadcast wealthy frequency, and the universe responds by sending circumstances that match. You're magnetic to wealth because that's who you are. The attraction is natural, organic, and consistent because you're not trying to attract wealth to broke identity anymore. You are wealth, so wealth comes to you. The third transformation is decision clarity. Broke identity agonizes over financial decisions, paralyzed by fear of making wrong choices. Wealthy identity makes decisions quickly and confidently because you trust yourself. You know what aligns with your values and vision. You're not afraid of making mistakes because you know you'll handle whatever comes. You say yes to aligned opportunities without second-guessing. You say no to misaligned situations without guilt. This decisiveness accelerates your success dramatically because you're not wasting time and energy in indecision. You're moving forward with confidence and trust. The fourth transformation is natural confidence. Broke identity feels small, apologetic, hesitant, afraid to take up space or claim value. Wealthy identity is naturally confident, grounded, self-assured, comfortable taking space and claiming full value. You price appropriately without apology. You negotiate powerfully. You present yourself well. You speak with authority. You carry yourself with presence. This confidence isn't arrogance, it's alignment with truth. You know your worth, you know your value, and you show up accordingly. This confidence is magnetic and opens doors that were closed to broke identity's tentative, apologetic energy. The fifth transformation is consistent prosperity. Broke identity experiences feast or famine cycles, sometimes okay, often struggling, always uncertain. Wealthy identity experiences consistent, sustainable prosperity. Income is steady or growing, opportunities are regular, financial stress is rare. This consistency comes from maintaining consistent identity. You're not bouncing between broke and wealthy. You are wealthy consistently, so the universe confirms that identity consistently. The roller coaster stops because your identity stabilized. You've locked into the wealthy frequency and you stay there, so the universe keeps mirroring wealth back to you. Perhaps most importantly, you experience complete congruence. Everything about you aligns. Your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, behaviors, words, and energy all match. You're not saying one thing and feeling another. You're not wanting abundance while identifying as broke. You're not visualizing wealth while living scarcity. You are wholly, completely, authentically wealthy identity. This congruence creates massive power because there's no internal conflict or contradiction. You're broadcasting one clear, strong frequency, and the universe responds to that clarity with rapid, consistent manifestation. Here's the truth you must fully embrace. You don't need to wait until you have money to become wealthy identity. You become wealthy identity first, then the money comes as confirmation of who you are. This is the quantum sequence. Identity precedes manifestation. Being precedes having. Who you are determines what you attract. Right now, broke identity is attracting broke circumstances. Flip to wealthy identity, and wealthy circumstances become inevitable. The quantum identity flip isn't about changing your circumstances and hoping your identity follows. It's about changing your identity and watching your circumstances reorganize themselves to match. You're not waiting to become wealthy identity after you get wealth. You're choosing to be wealthy identity right now, before any external evidence, and trusting that the universe will confirm your identity with matching reality. Because that's how the quantum field works. That's how identity operates. That's how you create lasting wealth. You don't attract wealth by wanting it desperately. You attract it by becoming it completely. Make the flip. Commit to wealthy identity with absolute consistency. Practice it, embody it, live it until it's not practice anymore, until it's genuinely who you are. And watch as the universe confirms your new identity with abundant, consistent, ever-expanding prosperity. You are not broke. You were just being broke identity. Flip to wealthy identity, and become the version of you who attracts wealth effortlessly. That version is real. That version is available right now. Choose it. Be it. Live it. Everything else will follow.